today we will see how to create a table and import data into the table using pgAdmin as well as psql command line. Okay, let's dive into the hands-on now. So these are the connection we'll be making to connect to the database. So let's begin creating the table. So before creating a table, we have to create a schema where we will be placing our objects. Let's see how to create a schema and its tables. So here, if you see, yesterday we were creating a connection called my PostgreSQL. Double click that, and inside the database you can see Postgres database is the default one right now. So let us use that. And while you expand the Postgres database, you can see the schemas where you can see only the public schema right now. So just create one more schema called my schema, and the owner will be same as Postgres user. So just use that and go to SQL and see what SQL it is generating, so that you are aware of the SQL which will be used for creating the same schema using a SQL file. Just see the SQL and make note of it. Just click save. Okay, now the schema is created. Now go to tables. So inside the tables, you cannot see any tables right now. So right click, create table, and here just mention, let us see, for this hands-on we will be using authors table. So let us create my authors table, and the owner is Postgres and schema is my schema. Go to column tab and add the definition of the table. So in the right side you can see add row, so which will be like adding the column to the table. So let us create author ID, and then just go to integer. So before that, let me show you the structure of the table which I will be creating in. So this is the structure of the table. So you can go to integer and then make it as not null, because this will be our primary key and it should not be null, and mark it as primary key. I'll explain separately about the primary key and everything. Right now we will concentrate on creating the table definition. So next one is like next column will be first name, and this will be the character, but it will be in varying size. So let's input 100 as a length right now, and go ahead and create all the other. So here we can say middle name. Okay, so here in this method, actually, while you see, it will be more like a manual method. We'll be entering manually with all the length, data type for each and every column. It is a tedious process. So I'll tell you later how we can do this with the scripts using psql. So now we are doing the column name called last name, and the data type is character varying, and set it to 100. Okay, so this is the definition of the table. Go to SQL and see how the definition has been created here. You can also save this into some SQL file for the reference later. So right now the table definition is ready. So let us create this table. Click on save. Okay, now under the table you can see the newly created table. So let's see the definition of this particular table. So go to tools and launch query tool. This is the editor where we can just run our SQL queries. So select from schema name, my schema dot my authors, and execute. So here you can see the table definition is created, but there is no data in it. So let us try to import a data. For that, just go to the same table, right click and do import data, and in the import statement you can see it is pointing to the directory where the CSV file is, but I've already done the practice before, so it is pointing to that location by default. But uh, if you want to change the location, you can change it here by this clicking this folder name. So, and then the format is CSV file, so I keep the same thing and come to option. In the option you see a header is included because this file has a header in it, so I will include that. And delimiter, you can see it is comma separated, so we have to mention that it's very important. And go to the column and see what are the columns that's inside the file. Just mention that it is taken by default, but if anything is missing you have to mention that here. So now the table, all the definition has been given here for the imports. So click on OK. If you see the processes, in the latest process, this is the latest process ID 41152, go to the details and see what the command it is internally using. So it is a copy command. It is using from to the table with the definition whatever we have created, and from the CSV file delimiter is comma and header, this is all the escape character that it is using by default. So close this and go back to your query tool and run the same query again. See, now you can see it is having 1376 rows which are loaded here. So now the table is having a data. So this is how we would create a table, and we can import the data into the table. So now we can go ahead and do the same practice in psql command line. Let us drop this table here. Drop the table because in real time, like, we will not handle such activity inside the pgAdmin, even though it is a GUI, very easy to handle, but we will be managing all those things in the server. We need to know how we can call the command line and do the same thing very easily. So let's go to psql, launch the command line and go to your data file, wherever you have the data file. So this is my, okay, so this is my SQL file where I have the file. So this is the SQL file. You can see whatever the script that had while creating pgAdmin, I just stored the script as SQL, and this is the SQL file. If you go here, you can see the CreateTable statement, which is actually creating the table, pointing table space name is pg default. I'll take a separate lecture about the table space. Right now the default one is pg underscore default. While we create a database, it will come by default. So if you want to create a separate table space, you have to create it. It is all part of the database administration task. So I'll tell you later. Now let us concentrate on the DDL part. Create table name, and these are the column names. And if you see here, the primary key is actually set to author ID. And then the alter call table is actually setting the owner to Postgres user. So whenever you create an object, you have to set the owner and its schema. So now the schema is my schema and owner is actually Postgres user. These two statements is actually creating a table and setting the permission of the table. And then the last one is about the copy command. In the copy command, actually it is pointing to the location of the CSV file, and then go to the delimiter. I mean, for the CSV file, the delimiter is comma, and whatever the encoding method is. Like right now, the system understands UTF method, so that data will be converted from the bytes to characters. So we are using encoding method as UTF-8. So just include everything in the SQL file. I'll tell you how to execute the SQL file, and we will bring the schema, table, and the data, everything using psql command. Okay, let's go to psql. Yesterday I was mentioning about the psql, how to launch it. So just use the same command. So for launching that, you have to use psql. Host is localhost, port is 5432, and database is Postgres. Username is Postgres, as well as the password is, I don't want to show the password here, so it will be prompting me to enter the password. So caps W is required in the option. Just click enter, and I'm entering the password now. Okay, now the authentication is done. /l list all the databases, and /du is actually listing all the users. So I just used /l and /du, see the existing databases and existing users. So you can see Postgres databases is there, and user is the existing user is Postgres. It is having a super user privilege right now. I'll go through the privilege later part. So right now we will concentrate on creating the table. Okay, so in the pgAdmin, if you see, just refresh it, we don't have the table right now, and also I wanted to just delete the schema. I want to create everything fresh from the command line. So I don't have a schema called my schema right now. Go to the command line and click put /dn, that will list all the schemas. Now you can see only the public schema here. So create a schema, name is my schema. Okay, now do the same command again, /dn, that will list the new schema here. Okay, now the schema is ready. So let us create the object inside the schema. So what we have to do is, before we create a table, just set the search path. So search path to the schema name which we have right now. So this is the command for that. Set search path to my schema. That will switch the schema to whatever schema we mentioned here. So here the set is done. Now we are ready to create a table. So for creating a table, we already created all the scripts in the file, and we saved this file inside the YouTube folder. So right now the file is already there. So let me call that file my authors.sql. Okay, minus here, if you see, the /i is actually calling the file. So when we call any SQL file, we have to use the /i option. So this is the way we have to execute the SQL file. So /i space and the file name, and click on enter. So here, if you see, we are following the same sequence, like creating a table, altering a table, and then the data is already inserted, and totally 1376 records are inserted, same like pgAdmin. So let us cross verify that using /dt. So here, if you see, the schema name is having the table right now. Just select count of that particular table, schema.myauthors. So now you can see the table here. So the data is inserted using psql. Go back to pgAdmin, just refresh this. You can see the schema name is keep coming again because of our activity. And go here and extract tables. Now the table is also here, and create. So you do select and see the count. Okay, yeah, so it is there. So just to summarize what we have learned today, we know how to create a schema and then create a table and import a data into the table using pgAdmin as well as psql command line. So I hope you are enjoying this course. Let us see the next topic in next video. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and share. Thanks.